What's up? It's World Hockey Report Live coming to you on 12 Ounce Sports. Cody Jansen here with you Wednesday, June 10th. Time really feels like it's flying by. Show brought to you by mybookie.ag. Use promo code 12OZSports. When you're going to make that deposit, and they'll match it up to $1,000. That's a heck of a deal right there. mybookie.ag, promo code 12OZSports. The NHL's coming back. The NBA's coming back. You know you want to get in on the action. That's the most fun you'll have watching a game. You feel like you're almost in it when you got money on the line. mybookie.ag, promo code 12OZSports. Get in the action. Cash that ticket. Already on today's show, we got Adam Ermintrout right away. He's 9:20. Joey Tetarenko joins us, the pride of Saskatchewan, former Florida Panthers tough guy, great Sasky guy. He's going to come on. I'm sure he's got some funny stories as well from his time with Florida. Then at 9:40, probably one of the bigger social media fan sensations in a while. Tony X is going to hop on the show. That one's going to be fun. A little bit of a different, it's curveball for you. You know, not a former player. This is a fan's perspective. You know, that's going to be a good one too. Coming up at 9:40, Tony X. But first, we got a lot of stuff to crush down with Adam Ermintrout, buddy. How's it going?
Not bad, buddy. How are you doing?
Can't complain. It's finally sunny outside. You know, we got through our half a foot of rain, it felt like. I think the golf courses are drying up, so I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, exactly, man. I pretty much have nothing else to do, so just golf and go. And yesterday was the first day it wasn't windy in like a week and a half, so that was good.
No hole-in-ones to report yet, though?
Nah, I was like within 5 feet yesterday, but it wasn't really that close.
We're gonna have to get you a 69-degree club. That, you know, get it up. Those are definitely exactly the wedges. I mean, anything in tight, I found like that it just sticks it unbelievably. Like, I'm not amazing with my wedges by any means, but just with that club, you get a little bit of extra leverage. Man, things sit like a dart.
Just a high flop shot.
Are you hitting eagles? Any eagles to report? No, just maybe a couple of birds in there.
My brother got one the other day on hole 1. He chipped in from like 80 yards out on a second shot.
Okay.
He had no idea though. I was walking up by the green and I was like, man, you just got an eagle. He goes, oh, it went in. I was like, yeah, I've never seen a guy so disappointed.
Eric with the big emotional celebration.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Man, I got to ask you, we got to talk some hockey here because last night, I think it was Overdrive, you said, Nathan MacKinnon went on and he says he thinks Panarin should win the Hart. Now, I don't know if he's just, you know, stirring up stuff because, you know, he knows they might have to face Draisaitl or McDavid in the playoffs. Like, from my perspective, that's my very first thought when I hear that. But, like, is there an argument for Panarin to be the Hart winner this year?
Yeah, I think there is. He was incredible this year. I think he had 95 or so points, and he's playing on a Rangers team who has obviously sped up their rebuild, but at the same time, they're not quite done it yet. And him playing with like a guy like Zibanejad and Chris Kreider and those guys, but he'd probably finish second. Like I think that Draisaitl had such a big gap on everyone else, and he was playing away from McDavid, which obviously a lot of people don't know or seem to not know. So yeah, Panarin had an incredible year. He's the second highest paid player in the league, so you're paying him to do, but he had an incredible year.
Does it matter that New York was a little bit disappointing? Like, how much do you factor in team success into the heart? Because I know everyone's a little bit on the fence. Like, I honestly think it should matter somewhat because if you're the most valuable player, you're probably carrying the team on their back.
Yeah, like I mean, Zibanejad had a huge breakout year with like 40 some goals and not even 60 games. But for the Rangers, I don't know if it was much of a disappointment. Like they sent out that letter 2 or 3 years ago to the fans, being like, "Yeah, like we're rebuilding. It sucks, but like we're rebuilding. We're gonna get it right." Because like Derek Stepan and Brassard and all those guys left, and then all of a sudden it was just like they won the draft lottery. They got Panarin. They hit big on Shesterkin. I think it.
Shesterkin.
But yeah, they hit big on a couple guys, which obviously sped it up. So
can we say they hit big on him yet though? Like he's played 12 games, I think. He's good. Like don't get me wrong, I think he's like solid. But like, I mean, are we gonna say like they've hit the jackpot? Because I don't know if I'm ready to go with that yet.
Well, I mean, like his K numbers and then his A numbers and then early returns on the NHL have been good. So if he can keep that up, then I'd say next year would be more so like the Rangers should probably make the playoffs next year.
That's fair. I think they got a chance this year, even with the play-in too. Like, don't they face Carolina?
Yeah, and they swept Carolina this year. That was why Carolina was one of the teams that voted no. And also the Rangers, it helps that they're the Rangers, and a guy like Adam Fox is going to complain his way onto your organization pretty much and just get 40 or whatever points. So it helps that they're like the biggest market in the league, or one of.
Yeah, I don't think it's bigger than Toronto. But weren't people like saying like Adam Fox for Calder? Did I miss that? Like I was kind of reading, like he was like trending on Twitter, and I was like, who? Like, isn't this guy that like cried his way out of multiple teams? And I think it is. Like, I think people are being like, oh, he should be in consideration for like multiple awards. I don't know. I'm not a big analytics guy. Everyone knows that. I'm more of, what's actually who's lifting the cup. But like, man, you're gonna tell me that this guy deserves a sniff at a league award? I haven't heard of him all year.
No, like I think two guys are gonna get votes 1 and 2. And it's probably going to be split, and then after that, it doesn't matter because it's a 2-horse race.
I totally agree that I think that Quinn Hughes is going to win based on, I mean, you love to say recency bias, and I would 100% agree with that. Like, there's no doubt in my mind Quinn Hughes had a better second half of the year, but just how dominant Cale Makar was at the start, and like, man, just the way that he runs that Colorado defense, like, see you later, Barry. Not a problem. Cale Makar took over. He was phenomenal. And, like, I'm not trying to take away anything that Hughes said, like, did or anything. Like, I actually think he will win the Calder. But Makar has to be, 1B. Like, no questions.
Oh, yeah. Like, it's kind of a toss-up, though. Like, I also kind of think Hughes will win, but it's basically like one fan base is going to be irate, but the rest of the league will be like, oh. Like I'd love to have either player.
No kidding. Hey, other news that broke this week. I don't even remember what day it was. I think it was Monday. Maybe just taking a random swing there. U Sports Canada West. I don't know. Was it all of U Sports or was it just Canada West? But they canceled all their fall sports or like the championships at least.
Canada West, and then like OUA came out and did it too. I think.
Yeah, I think like Quebec's doing their own thing, but that's Quebec. Like, is anyone really shocked that they just do their own thing? I don't think so. But, okay, so then hockey. For Canada West hockey, I know, like, we don't follow it a ton, but, it's something that we're all close to. And they're now aiming for a January start date. I know they had already talked about a shortened season down to 20 games. Now it sounds like that could get cut even more, like we're talking 14 to 16. I don't know, man. What's your thoughts on this? Because from the sounds of it, this is going to be really tough to pull off, especially with some schools saying, hey, not all classes are going to be in person this year, especially like, the ones like Mount Royal, Grant MacEwan. They don't know if they're going to be getting these student athletes, every single one of them in town and, on the ice.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I mean, it's hard to say because like the January start, like that probably means they would have to play some weak games, like if Saskatchewan played Regina or Edmonton played Grand McEwen or Calgary or whatever. But I don't know, like you see the stuff yesterday in Alberta where they're lifting the cap on all restaurant bans and they're opening up rinks and pools, and that's on June 10th or whatever, June 12th it'll be, and like I don't understand really how university hockey can be played in October, and like I understand that classes are online. Like I'm obviously an example of classes being online, but at the same time, like like at the same time, though, like you can have guys live there because it's not like they're working a bunch or in September and October anyways and like need to live at home, right? Like most of them are on a scholarship program from the Western Hockey League or Canadian Hockey League or whatever, and they're in a position where they're able to go and live somewhere else and play. But at the same time, like you're gonna tell university guys who the majority are focused on their schooling at this point, especially in the third and fourth years, where like you're just gonna take a 10-month break. Like I don't know what that does for the quality of hockey, but I don't know.
I think the biggest thing for U Sports is that if they can't get fans in the stands, they're not operating. I mean, I get it. Like there's already teams who struggle with fans. Like, well, I guess Lethbridge is kind of no more tough to take a second jab at them. I don't think Regina does much for, putting asses in the stands. Mount Royal outside of the Crowchild Classic, like they don't do anything. I don't know if UBC does much anymore, but like aside from Alberta, Saskatchewan, and sometimes Calgary when they're good, these teams, they need fans to survive or even like at least get by, like take minimal losses.
Yeah, and especially the fact that you kind of said like the three major universities in that are the three best. So Saskatchewan, Calgary, and Alberta, the three best teams, and they're probably getting the most alumni, sponsor money, and all that, and then like the U of R and whatever, Mount Royal probably aren't getting that. So even like 100 fans is more important to them.
In the nicest way possible. Like I can't believe that some of those places still have teams. Like it just doesn't sound profitable to me at all with like how much travel there is required, and especially now like BC has their own little collegiate hockey league, like second tier, like the BCIHL, where they've got like
they're joint now though.
Well, yeah, like Trinity West is, but they're like a rich school. It's like a private school anyways. But like, they still have like Selkirk, Simon Fraser, Victoria. Like Alberta's got the ACAC, which Briarcrest tries to play in. We're not going to say that they actually play in it because that's not a pretty sight. And then like, I don't know, Saskatchewan doesn't really, but like you'd think that like Saskatchewan, Manitoba could come up with something like just a second tier system, right? Where like all these top schools, like how much better would it be? And I get it, the travel would be ridiculous if like the University of Alberta's taken on New Brunswick. I think University of Toronto was pretty good. McGill used to be a wagon. Like the actual like cream of the crop, like say the top 8 to 10 U Sports teams. What happens if they were in their own league? Like that would be taken seriously then. Like people would take U Sports way more seriously because they would be sending top players to the NHL and the American League. 100%.
Yeah, exactly. And this year is especially different because, like, with lack of travel, I think the standings might be a little fluctuated if the season gets played because UBC is going to play Trinity Western 6 times, and no offense to them, but, like, UBC's got a bunch of former Western Hockey League guys, and Trinity Western has a bunch of former Junior A and KI guys, realistically. So
even worse.
Man,
I mean, I've seen some of their recruits, and like, I'm not one to like toot my own horn. I was never this like special hockey player or anything, but like, oh my goodness, some of their like recruiting class, I'm like, no, there's no way these guys are gonna be half decent. Like, they're not gonna be able to keep up.
Yeah, and that's what it is. But the merger happened, so maybe we'll see if the season does.
At least Grant McEwen's going to be pretty sick. Last thing I wanted to ask you about, we got a few more minutes here. The WHL, Dustin Wolf was named goaltender of the year. Not really surprising. Like, he plays in that Everett system. Like, Everett might as well just keep that goaltender of the year trophy there as long as they've got someone competent between the pipes. But here's the real question, and I know that you might lean towards cheering for the Alberta teams for Calgary and Edmonton, but like, man, we didn't see him in World Juniors, so it's tough to, I don't know, not pick him apart. But, like, is there NHL potential there? Because when I see small goaltenders in the WHL that even have success, I struggle to see anything at that next level. Like, the last guy that I can really think of who was a small goaltender in the WHL, Dustin Tokarski. That's who I would say was probably the most successful small goaltender in the past 20 years.
Yeah, like, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, great, like, and I've talked to to people around the rink who work for NHL teams. Say we won't even look at a guy if he's under 6'1" or 6'2". Like, it just like doesn't matter to them because the game's so fast and it's so outside, and if you're giving up 2 or 3 inches just because like there's nothing you can do about it, you're just not very tall, then like you can't get your toe or your pad on the shot. So like, I know a lot of teams don't look at guys if they're under 6'1" or 6'2", but Wolf's numbers speak for themselves, and we'll see what happens. Like, the Everett, I'm always curious to see what happens after the Everett system, but I think their last 4 or 5 goalies have at least played in the Coast or the AHL. Austin Lotz and Ken Simpson, and obviously Carter Hart, but like Carter Hart had gross numbers there, and then he went to the AHL and he wasn't even 900, and the Flyers were just desperate to get him up, and they did. And his splits this year were ridiculous, where he was like 930 or 940
unbelievable at home.
And then on the road, yeah, and then on the road he was like, I don't even know if he was 890 on the road. So it's the system definitely helps, but like obviously like their last couple goalies have gone on to pro hockey, and with Hart being the latest example, he's done the best job.
Okay, well, we'll wrap up with that then, because you brought up a good point of Carter Hart being way better at home. And when we come into the NHL playoffs now, there's not going to be any fans. And I'd say fans are obviously the toughest part of road games, especially being a goaltender. Like, I picked Philly to win at the start of the year and, before playoffs here. Like, do you think that gives them an advantage when you have a guy like Carter Hart who's so good in the comfort, of the home rink where, the fans aren't on you? Like, do you think that actually gives them a little bit extra leverage?
Yeah, like, I don't know about leverage because it's just going to be so different and unlike any
well, a little bit of an advantage.
Yeah, like, I mean, obviously it's easier to play in front of no fans than it is to play on the road for most goalies. I'd say like it's pretty quiet and whatnot, so maybe that does help them out.
I agree. I 100% agree with that, and that's definitely a thought that's gone through my mind, especially because, as you said, like, his home versus away, like, it's not like he was terrible on the road. I don't think their team in general was that great on the road, but it's going to be
a couple blow-up games, I think.
Oh, it happens. I mean, he's still 20 years old. Hey, Adam, buddy, appreciate you coming on the show as always. Always great insight.
Beauty. Thanks, man.
Adam Ermintrout joining the show, our Canada West insider there. Always good to get that insight, especially his NHL takes as well. We're going to be back after the break. Joey Tedarenko coming on. Good Sasky boy, yes. We're going to get stories. This is World Hockey Report coming to you live on 12 Ounce Sports. It's World Hockey Report live coming to you on 12 Ounce Sports. Cody Jansen with you here. It's Wednesday, June 10th, 9:23 local time. Bringing up our big guest of the day for Wits Nutrition and Performance, WNP. You got to go check them out. That's your place. You want a personalized workout program. Doesn't matter if you're quarantined inside, can get out to the gym now. Go hit up Curtis and his team there. They're going to hook you up a great plan. You want nutrition? Go check them out as well. They got great clothing too. They really do a little bit of everything. Wits Nutrition and Performance. Go hit them up today. Join now the pride of Saskatchewan. We love our Sasky guys on this show, so it's a big honor to have former Florida Panther on it, Joey Tenorenko. Joey, how's it going?
It's going very well. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, not a problem. You keeping busy during quarantine? I know you said you're in the middle of a move, so obviously that's like stressful times to begin with. But like, are you still able to get out a little bit?
Yeah, actually, it's been fun spending time with the family, not busy going work, school, hockey, all those other things that carry you away from home. So it's nice to be able to stay home. But yes, I am in the middle of a move. Was able to get some stuff done around home before we head on our new house in Calgary. So it's been nice.
You're coming out to, the prairies again. That's got to be a little bit of a relief. Obviously, you grew up in St. Louis, right around Prince Albert there. What was it like growing up and playing minor hockey? Because I played minor hockey in Saskatchewan, obviously, as well, more so in the 2000s. But still, it was a different style. I watching minor hockey nowadays, and I'm sure you see it as well. Like, it's all about skill, like finesse, playing like that. Like, even when I was growing up, like Saskatchewan in general was just like slap shots and body checks. That was the only thing. There's nothing else that mattered in the game.
That's exactly it. It was very competitive, very rough. It was all about making sure you got the puck in deep, finishing your check, and getting the puck to the net any way you could. I don't remember a lot of skill training. I just remember making sure you worked as hard as you could every time that you were on the ice and make sure you had a competitive edge so nobody could take advantage of you.
Okay, so you played in St. Louis, and obviously you said you guys had to team up just to make a team. Like, that's pretty common in Saskatchewan, but like, were you just ripping up like minor hockey and stuff? Like, were you a unit back then? Were you just like bigger than everyone and kind of did what you wanted?
Yeah, I guess from the time I was getting into minor hockey, I was always much bigger than my age group. I could skate, and I was big, and so I could move. So yeah, being in the small towns, like we had to team up with St. Louis, teamed up with Dormy, Waka, Cudworth, all those little communities around there to make one team. And playing against other small communities, yeah, I guess you could say I had my heyday out on the ice until I got more competition when I was older.
I don't remember if I ever played in St. Louis. I'm sure I did, but I was too young to really remember. But do you by chance remember ever playing in Warman in that small little diamond arena?
Yeah, I do. There's a couple rinks that I do remember. I remember Warman, Waka, obviously was one of our home rinks. St. Louis only had natural ice when I first started minor hockey, so you only could play when it's cold, and once it got warm, you were done. So they didn't get plexiglass until I was, I think, maybe Pee-wee or something like that. So it's a very rough, very, had its own character as a hockey rink, like a lot of other hockey rinks in Saskatchewan do.
Guaranteed it had a tractor Zamboni as well. There's no other way.
Well, when I first started, we didn't even have the Zamboni. Everybody would jump the boards and grab 4x8 sheets of plywood, help scrape the ice between periods, and then at the end of the day, they would pull this big water tank with hot water over the ice to have that one flood.
Yeah, it's got a blanket behind it.
Absolutely.
That's hilarious. Joey, then you move on. You end up playing in the Western League in Portland for 4 or 5 years. Like, how fun was that? Like, man, like who gets to spend their whole junior career or, major junior career with one team? Like, that's unreal. Plus you end up winning a Mem Cup. Like, what does it mean to, spend that time in Portland for you? Because that's a different world as well. Like, you're coming from small town Saskatchewan to Oregon.
Yeah, I remember when I was drafted in the Bantam draft, it was one of the first years that they had the Bantam draft. And I thought for sure that I was going to be picked by the Prince Albert Raiders. My dad played for the Raiders, my uncle played for the Raiders, and I'd grown up going with my grandpa with season tickets. So the Raiders were really kind of all I knew about the Western Hockey League. And then once the Bantam draft came along, I was picked by Portland. So, and I wasn't really sure if that Portland, Maine, where is that kind of thing. So coming from 400 people being drafted there it was a big learning experience to even figure out, the life outside of Saskatchewan. I played a year in North Battleford, went to AAA, and then off to Portland as a 16-year-old. And there's so much I could say about the organization of Portland. Like, they treated everybody so well. They have great fan base, and like you talked about, spending my whole junior career there with the same team was awesome.
Yeah, like that's something rare. Like, 5 years on the same team. It really doesn't happen. Like, if you're a superstar, even like generally, it's a business. I get it. And so usually they are going to end up shipping someone out. So that's pretty interesting. Then you make the jump right from juniors to the NHL, correct, in Florida?
Well, I spent about a year and a half in the American League. So I left Portland after my 19-year-old year, and I wasn't sure if I was going to go back to my overage year, but ended up sticking with Florida's American League affiliate, who was teamed up with Carolina in New Haven, Connecticut. There wasn't a lot of spots, but I guess for a young guy who just turned 20 to be able to play in the American League at that time, I must have been playing pretty well and be able to carve out some ice time. So I didn't either get sent back to junior or sent to the East Coast. So I was in the American League right away as a real young player.
I skipped over one thing. I've got it in my notes. I just seen it right here. What was the Mem Cup celebration like? Like, I mean, that's unreal. That's what every kid in Canada playing juniors aims for. Like, that's what kids want. That's honestly, I probably, growing up, watching like the Memorial Cup, like I don't remember, it was on like Rogers or something. Like we'd always have to go to our neighbors to watch it. Like it was a big thing because like not many kids had the channel. So like you watch that on TV and like that was so special. I thought that was unbelievable. Like what was it like winning it? And then what was the celebration like after?
It was amazing. Because like we talked about earlier, for me to spend all those years with the same team. So I got to Portland at the right time. They were just starting a rebuild when I was 16 years old. And we had a core group that stayed for the 4 years. And we peaked right at, my 19-year-old year. Obviously, we got some players in. Marian Hossa came to our team that year, which is an unbelievable, one of the best hockey players in the world.
Sounds all right.
To be able to stay in Portland 4 years and then finish it off, winning the World Cup, was such a special thing for our group of players, for the city of Portland, because when I started, that's when Kamloops was winning all of their Memorial Cups, and going into Kamloops and taking care of business, getting shellacked 12-1, and then finally winning the Memorial Cup ourselves was awesome. We had such a tight group. We had so much fun on the ice and off the ice. So once we won the Memorial Cup, we got back to Portland, and I think we stayed there for like a month, just having fun in the city. We had a small parade. We had a big celebration downtown Portland. It was almost like a Stanley Cup celebration for the city of Portland. It was amazing.
Oh, I believe it. They love their hockey there. Like that is, I would, I'm probably not far off saying it's one of the best organizations in the Western League. Like, just how they sell out to the Rose Garden or Moda Center, whatever. Like, just how they pack those places, how much they love their hockey. It's
absolutely, the tradition of hockey in Portland is kind of a little under the radar, but going all the way back to the 60s and 70s with the Portland Buckaroos and the Rosebuds, and then getting the team from Edmonton in the 70s, they've always had a tradition of hockey and supporting their hockey teams greatly. And so it was a lot of fun. I've gone to some CHL games here in Ontario, and it just doesn't seem the same. I know Ontario's a Leafs province, and they're kind of only worried about the NHL, but the tradition of junior hockey out west is amazing. It makes it that much more special.
That's got to be sickening for you. Sasky Bueno and cheers for the Leafs. Who was the guy you looked up to then? Like, who's the guy who you kind of modeled your game after growing up?
Well, growing up, like I said, I had season tickets to the Raiders. I didn't have season tickets. I went with my grandfather who had season tickets to the Raiders. But I grew up watching guys like Ken Baumgartner, Dave Manson, Rich Pilon, all those guys from the Prince Albert Raider teams back in the 80s. And so just that brand of hockey. And then growing up, I was a Boston Bruins fan. I loved Cam Neely and I loved Ray Bourque. So, Cam Neely I thought was just the most complete hockey player that you could see. He could score, he could skate, he could hit, he could fight. He was the ultimate hockey player in my eyes. And I wanted to kind of model myself after him, even though as a defenseman growing up.
So you started off playing defense then?
Yeah, I was drafted as a defenseman. I played defense all the way until my second year pro.
Oh, no way.
I played D, and then with our American Hockey League affiliate being with Carolina, there was only so many spots in the American League. So being a split squad, I played defense my first year, and then we had a lot of defensemen in the system. Even at the NHL level, American League level, there's a lot of defense. So the depth chart was really deep at D. They liked how I played physical. Chuck Fletcher came to me after my first year, or close to the end of my first year in New Haven, and asked me if I wanted to try playing right wing. They said they liked my aggression, how I skated. They wanted me to, kind of be an agitator up front. So I moved to the right wing for about 10 games at the end of my first professional season, and they really liked what I did. And I think I was called up to the NHL in 6 or 8 months after making the position move. So.
What was your holy shit, I'm in the NHL moment? Like when did it hit you that you're like, I'm here, like I'm in the National Hockey League?
Well, my first holy shit moment was actually the first time I got called up. I missed my flight, so I never got to play.
No way.
Yeah, so we were in Louisville, Kentucky. We were playing with the Louisville Panthers, was our affiliate. First time I got called up, they called me at 11 in the morning, and they said, "Hey, Oleg Kavash is sick, and we want to know if you can make it down to Florida to play tonight." Obviously, they asked me. What am I going to say? No. They said the only thing is your flight leaves at 1. You have to get to the rink, get your gear, and I'm like, that's no problem. But my flight was in Cincinnati, not Louisville, which was about an hour away.
Oh,
so I had to book it. And as I was getting to the gate, it was pulling out of the gate. So I never got to play for my first call up. It never got called up until the next year. So
no way.
It was really disappointing. So because you never know if you're going to get called up again. So it was a little bit agitating, but I guess fueled for the next couple months to make me want to get there even more. But going back to your question, what was the first little shit moment? Like I said, Ray Bork was one of my favorite players growing up. In my first NHL exhibition game, we played the Boston Bruins, and he was playing. So just to sit on the bench and watch him play was surreal to me. I'm like, I'm on the same ice as Ray Bork. And the funny thing was, he had grabbed the puck in the corner and he was wheeling around the net, and he did a lazy backhand pass in front of his own net, and we picked it up and scored. And I was disappointed. I wasn't cheering. I'm like, no, Ray, not in front of your own net. He was for the other team. So just being able to see those players that you grew up watching and being on the same ice was pretty amazing.
That's unreal. Joey Teterenko, our big guest today for What's Nutrition and Performance. We only got a few more minutes, but I got to ask you, what was your first goal? Who was it on? Like, walk me through it. Was it greasy or was it unreal?
Actually, it was pretty unreal. I scored my first 2 NHL goals in the same game.
Okay, that's all right.
So I got called up, and it was pretty early in my first stint up in Florida, and we were playing against the Columbus Blue Jackets, and the goaltender was Ron Tugnutt, and it was late in the first period, and we were breaking out of our zone, and I was on a 2-on-1 with Olli Jokinen. He actually sauced the puck right over. I just grabbed it and I went top shelf, and it was really, really a nice highlight goal. And I remember the coach for the Columbus Blue Jackets was Gerard Gallant. He was an assistant coach, and he was laughing at me and yelling at me. He said, "Where did that come from? I've never seen that before." Because he was my coach the year earlier in Louisville, so it was pretty comical. But then I scored again the next period, and then I thought maybe I was going to get a hat trick for my first 3 goals, but kind of went dry after that. I think I only ended up with 4.
Two's enough. 2's enough. Oh man, hey, I really appreciate you taking the time to jump on, man. We'll get you on again this summer or something. I mean, we didn't even scratch the surface on your NHL career. We got to get into some of those fights. There's videos all over of you beating the wheels off guys. A bunch of kids that maybe a little bit too cocky coming into challenging you. So we will get into that. Joey, though, man, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Cody. It's always a pleasure to talk about hockey. So
we'll definitely have to get you back on. Best of luck with the move, too.
Thank you so much.
Joey Teterenko, Our guest, wow, that's a good one. Former Florida Panther. Good old Sasky boy. Anytime you get those Saskatchewan guys on, you got to do it. There's nothing better. Nothing better at all. Being someone who grew up in Saskatchewan, like, you play those small towns, someone in St. Louis, like, just their odds of making it to the NHL, it's so much smaller. Like, just the exposure, it's not there. It's a different world. And so for a guy like Joey Tedarenko to go out and carve an unreal dub career, like, nonetheless, like, if you retire after that, you're still unbelievable. Senior hockey pays all right too. But then to go on to the NHL, do stuff, a couple of goals against Ron Tugnutt, that'll work. Already take commercial break. Back after this with Tony X, the GOAT of hockey fans, St. Louis's finest. This is World Hockey Report coming to you live on 12 Ounce Sports. It's World Hockey Report Live coming to you on 12 Ounce Sports. Cody Jansen with you here. Wednesday, June 10th, 9:43 local time up in the Great White North. Our next guest, brought to you by 69 Degree Golf, the best wedges in the game. They are going to change your game as well. Hey, I'm not the best golfer out there, but once you get this weapon in your hand, you're going to be throwing darts at the pin. It's not even going to be fair anymore. You're going to be absolutely waxing the guys you're playing with. The best wedges out there, 69 Degree Golf. Get it up, put it in the hole. That's what you want to do. Hey, our next guest, one of the, most viral hockey fan, sensation, whatever you want to call him, of the recent past, Tony X. Our man Anthony joins us on the line right now. Buddy, how's it going?
It's going great. How you doing?
Hey, not too bad, not too bad. Appreciate you making the time, especially for World Hockey Report, now that you are a hockey fan officially. Would you say it's your favorite sport, or can we not go that far yet?
What I say, it's up there. I don't want to make any proclamations, man, because I say one thing, some people get mad, but I would say it's definitely, it's one or two. I don't want to, it's definitely one or two, but it's my favorite to watch, but I've grown up watching football and baseball, but hockey is definitely going up there.
Hey, the Blues aren't leaving you like the Rams did. I thought we went over that.
Exactly, there's no way the Blues will leave, especially after winning the Cup.
Oh man, what a past couple of years for them. Unbelievable.
Yeah, they've been we've had some ups and downs, but they hit the up.
Hey, I mean, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, whether that's fighting in practice. Hey, if it wins you a Stanley Cup, I mean, what a team, though, knowing a couple of guys. Hey, they pick players from the best place in the world, Saskatchewan. So, yeah, when you bring a bunch of Canadians down there, Chief's an unreal coach, too. Not a surprise that those guys gelled and won a cup.
Yeah, I remember that fight. I was joking when I said, this fight's going to turn the season around. I was kind of joking when I said it, but it actually kind of did. We started going up.
100% it did. 100%. It brought the team closer. Everyone's kind of like, okay, these guys want to win a hockey game, so shit, let's put it together.
That's how it goes sometimes.
Man, I got to ask you, though, that very first game, when you went viral on Twitter there, walk me through the situation. How did you start watching the game? Were you at a friend's house? Were you kind of did you just accidentally flip on the channel? Did your remote die when you were on ESPN or Fox Sports Missouri or what?
No, see, what happened was, basically, I was looking for the Cardinals game. We have a station out here that shows, the Blues, the Cardinals, but the Blues were in the playoffs, so usually the channel that's showing the Cardinals baseball game, it was showing the Blues game that day. So I just looked at it for a second, say, let me just check this out for a minute. And then nobody on Twitter, I just started tweeting out nobody. I didn't know anybody that followed hockey, nothing really about it. I don't know how it got blown up. Somebody seen it, just started retweeting it, but yeah, it just got blown up because I was accidentally looking for a baseball game.
What was I know you tweeted out hilarious things. That's obviously funny, but what in your memory, what's your first thoughts then of seeing hockey? We're sitting down to watch a game. Are you kind of man, these guys are actually crazy. They're just whipping around on ice with, knives on their feet and they're trying to kill each other out there.
Exactly. When I turned it on, it's the first thing I saw, it basically never stops. Except if you get icing or something, obviously, I learned that. But it never stopped. They're just going up and down, just beating the hell out of each other, just trying to score a goal. And I'm like, it's kind of lit, man.
Man, it's unreal. I love, I got to play down in Texas for a little bit, and it's kind of the same thing. Most people had never actually been to a game. Generally we're playing in front of 6,000 empty seats, but you bring fans of football, basketball, baseball to the game, and they're like, man, this is pretty exciting, actually. This is something I can get behind. So it's awesome to see. Then you went to your first game, and okay, one of my favorite tweets too. You're Blues fans showing up to games, and you had them in full out winter clothing, scarves, toques, all of that. Did you actually think it was going to be that cold inside the rink for fans?
I mean, it was a room full of ice. I didn't know how cold it would be. I mean, it wasn't that cold, but it felt good. It was just, that first game was amazing. We destroyed the Dallas Stars that game.
What was it like though? Like what's your thoughts of being there, like sitting in person? I don't know where you were sitting. Like, were you close to the glass, like the bench? Where?
I was right behind they put me like right behind the goalie. Like, and what I didn't realize is that they had like speakers on like the ice, so you can hear literally everything. You can hear the puck moving, you hear the ice skates, you can like hear everything. I didn't expect that. But yeah, I was right behind the other goalie.
That's unreal then. So then you get to see like the goal celebrations and stuff. Okay, I know this is a hot topic and I got to ask you because obviously you follow football too. Like NFL touchdown celebrations or hockey goal celebrations, which one's more exciting?
I mean, the NFL just started letting do celebrations again, so that doesn't even count. I feel like hockey, once they score, basically everybody on the ice celebrates things together. NFL's not always like that. Sometimes one person might do a little dance and everybody just runs back to the sideline, but hockey's like everybody contributed to that goal and they all just do a little group hug, a little uppercut punch.
Was there a fight in the game at least against Dallas? Like I can't say.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure you've seen like that Ryan Reeves when he like pulled kids at the Stars bench. That was that game. Like he fought like right in front of me. I jumped up, I was banging on the glass and everything.
Man, Revo is one tough customer. Were you, I guess you're sitting that close, right? Like, were you shocked to how big some of those guys are? Like, man, especially the Blues defense too, like they're massive.
Like they're big. Right, they're big, but then when they put on the skates, they're even taller.
Yeah.
Those are some big dudes.
Dude, it's hilarious that like a lot of people, you kind of look at it, you're like, man, like they don't look that big. Like obviously camera angle changes it, but when you're there, like the odds of them being under 6'3" is almost rare. Like there's a little more common now with some forwards, but like on the defensive side, goalies, no, everyone's massive. They're units, and then you add the skates, different story.
Yeah, I actually met Reeves after the game. I took a picture, but it's with my old phone, so I never got to post it. But he's a big dude. He's a big buff dude. I would not want to get in any arguments with him, I can tell you that.
He is. And the way, like, how fast he is, too. That's the biggest thing about Revo that people don't expect. Like, he motors out there. He's just buzzing, and then he'll crush guys. Like, I mean, imagine, like, in the NFL, like, in football and stuff, like, if you get hit, like, you're not getting whiplash hitting the boards or anything. Like, but in the NHL, like, you're getting crunched into glass and, like, boards. Like, it's a different story.
Right. Exactly.
Dude, and then the Blues, they go off. I mean, they're the worst team in the league last year. I mean, hey, maybe you sparked the comeback. Maybe some of those guys seen it. They're like, hey, Tony X believes in us. Let's go. Last to first. And they win the cup. Like, what was that like? Like, I mean, now by that point, like, you're a Blues fan, man. Like, you're tied in. You're a Blues fan.
Right.
Like, what was it like seeing them win a cup and go on that crazy run because no one thought it was happening?
Well, like, we have, like, before that season even started, like, we had the talent. Like, we were one of the best teams in the league. It's just, I don't know what happened. We just needed a change. Like, when I first saw Bennington start playing, I'm like, this dude is actually pretty good. So I'm like, we should let's just start him because we have the skaters around him. Nothing against Allen. I mean, Allen's a great goalie. He was coaching up Bennington throughout the playoffs. He was helping him out he was like a scout team goalie and everything. So it wasn't nothing against him. But when I was seeing Bennington, I'm like, this dude, we can ride him. We can do some things. He can take us far. But when I first saw that, I mean, we just kept going on the runs. We got Ruby in there. He was coaching them up. We just needed, like, we had the talent. We just needed a couple changes, and it actually worked.
Okay, what are the more exciting guys? And I mean, this is probably my little breakdown a little bit more. And one of the guys who I found was super impressive in the playoffs was that Sammy Blais kid. And, like, he was humming around. Like, were you there at one of those games where he was just wrecking guys? Like, he would go and have a shift where he would hit 4 guys. Like hit them hard, too. Like, not just nudge them.
I went to one Stanley Cup game. It was game 3. And we got destroyed. So I'm like, I can't go there anymore.
Bad luck?
It's just, I'm like, I'm superstitious. I'm like, nope, I cannot go there anymore. Like, it was the first game. It was like the first Stanley Cup game in St. Louis. And, like, I don't know, like, well, since I had to go, but then I got there. We just got destroyed. But yeah, I mean, our fourth line, we started our fourth line a couple games. It's because how well they were playing.
Man, Chief loves that. I mean, Craig Berube, he loves that tough physical style. And, like, man, Boston's such a mean team as well. Like, you need to be able to match that. And then, you get a little bit extra scoring power with guys like Ryan O'Reilly. Like, man, the Blues were just a perfectly built team. You got Binnington. And, I mean, I've got them in my prediction. Going back, I know, hey, you commented on that. You don't agree with them losing to Philly. But, like, I mean, from your fan perspective, can you see them repeating?
Unbiased, if we make it through the West again, like with beating if we like play the Avalanche, I feel like the Blues and the Avalanche are the two best teams in the West. I feel like whoever comes out the West, which I think is the Blues, will win. Because I mean, I feel like they'll be battle tested, especially the Blues, but I feel like we can go back to back. But it's going to be weird because we've never seen, like, how long has it been? 3-4 months where
who's keeping track?
Just not doing anything. Right. So I mean, that's why I feel like the Blues, if they can get through the West, through the Avalanche, they'll be battle tested enough, just like last year, where they can go back to back.
It's a lot of hockey going to, Game 7 Stanley Cup Finals last year and then going back. That's a ton of hockey. But hey, it'd be cool. Like, I mean, I'm not against it. I love the Blues. They've got some great guys, and hey, they picked from Saskatchewan, the best province in Canada. So I'm not going to complain. The Prairie Tough boys there. Hey, on a more serious note, though, like, hockey in general, you're a new fan. I'll call you that. I know it's been a few years now, but with the Hockey Diversity Alliance and that stuff coming out of recent too. It's a predominantly white sport, and it's a predominantly, unknown sport in a lot of communities down in the States where, minorities might not be as attracted to it. What can hockey do? Like, I know you mentioned a guy like Ryan Reeves, and Reeves has been fantastic for it. Like, he's always been great with the fans. Like, when you said you got to meet him, like, I'm not shocked at all. Like, he just seems like that type of guy who appreciates what others do and what fans do and what people give back to the game. So from your perspective, like, how do you think hockey can get more involved, maybe be a little bit more inclusive with fans who aren't, right away attracted to it because they're born up in Canada?
I mean, it just needs to be, I guess, because it's first is a hard sport to get in because you gotta, the equipment you gotta buy, everything you gotta get.
Expensive as
shit. You gotta learn how to
shit.
skate. I mean, that's like the first thing. Like, you gotta expand that to basically the people who aren't watching the game, who don't know about hockey. So, I mean, that's the first hurdle, and that's the big hurdle to get over. But, I mean, once you get that, I mean, it's a great game. Like, it's a great game. People will love it. You just got to get their attention on it. And that's been, I guess, the NHL's problem. Because, I mean, I love sports. I watch sports, but anytime anybody saw hockey or brought it up to me, it was like, I guess. But when I actually sat down and watched it, it's like, I mean, if people give it a chance and just watch it and look at it, I'm pretty sure if you love sports, you'll definitely love hockey. Because it's probably the most exciting sport because it really doesn't stop unless the refs call it icing.
Damn icings and offsides. Do you see it though from your perspective, like starting to grow and like reaching more people in St. Louis? Obviously, like the success is going to help, and like their Stanley Cup parade's crazy. But like, is it actually
definitely.
like really starting to take off there?
Yeah, definitely. Like when, especially with the Blues winning the Cup, of course, more people are going to look into it and get. But even before that, like I was having people, like hundreds and thousands of people just telling me, I heard, I saw this black guy watching hockey, so I checked it out too, and I kind of like it too. Like, I've gotten 1,000 of messages over the years. It's just going to take, it's not like a light switch you can flip, where like, you can just get people to watch. It's just going to take some time for them to adapt and just actually try to check it out. Basically, it's just going to take time for that. Just got to get it marketed right, and got to get people in.
Hey man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on this show. Love the Twitter. I mean, hey, you spread a lot of positivity out there, which is definitely something needed in the world. Love your hockey takes as well. So hey, I guess we'll see if the Blues do good. Maybe I'll hit you with the Cash App. We'll put a case of beer on it or something. But I don't know if I see the Blues getting past Philly if they face them in the finals. I mean Carter Hart. I got to stick with them there. That's a tough hurdle.
That's what they said about Tuukka Rask game.
Hey man, that's true.
The Blues can beat him at home. I can have us doing anything.
Hey man, I appreciate it, Tony. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
No problem. Have a good day.
Tony X, Anthony Holmes. What an interview. Go follow him on Twitter. Solo U City. Man, you're not going to be disappointed. Unbelievable follow. Hilarious guy. One of, just best hockey fans of all time. Just like the purest hockey emotion when he was watching that first game. Unbelievable. Hey, we got to thank our guests as we wrap things up. Adam Ermintrout right away. He's good segment there, talking some U Sports, maybe a little Panarin, stuff like that. Joey Teterenko, the pride of Saskatchewan, good Sasky boy, and Tony X, the GOAT of hockey fans. That's going to do it. Show brought to you by MyBookie.ag. Use promo code 12OZSports. Or you're going to make that deposit. They'll match it up to $1,000. Until next week, everyone, take care easy. See you then.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Wednesday, June 10th episode of Pete's Power Plays, hosted by the one, the only King on the Ice himself, Philly Pete, and we are live on 12 Ounce Sports and Zingo TV. This show, as always, is sponsored by MyBookie. When signing up for an account for MyBookie, please make sure you use the promo code 12 Ounce Sports. That's 12OZ Sports, all one word. When making your first deposit today, they will match you up to $1,000. Once again, go to mybookie.ag, sign up for an account today, and when doing so, please make sure you use the promo code 12 Ounce Sports. Again, 12OZ Sports, and they will match you up to $1,000. Also, when fans are coming back into stadiums, please choose none other than Seat Giant when getting the best seat in the house when it comes to your favorite team in general. Also, if you're looking to freshen up your look for the summertime, you have to check out 12 Ounce Sports' new line of clothing. We've got everything from shirts and sweaters to beach towels and phone cases. Find the store online today at 12OZSportsRadio.com under the Our Store tab. There you'll find a wide variety of clothing items, colors, and sizes that will suit your style. Once again, 12OZSportsRadio.com under the Our Store tab. Also, Zingo TV. When making an account with Zingo TV, please make sure you use the promo code 12 ounce 12OZ. Again, all one word, when signing up for a Zingo TV account. And from there, you'll be streaming all these wonderful shows that we can produce for you live and give you as much entertainment as we can during these crazy times. And, things are finally getting lifted. And this is great news for sports fans out there. So definitely sign up for a Zingo TV account out there. Again, promo code 12OZ, all one word. And you can stream all these phenomenal shows that we can provide to you on the 12 Ounce Sports Network. And last but not least, please, ladies and gentlemen out there, please check out the mini catalog that we have out there right now. We have 4 shirts. We have one golf shirt. It's $40 white golf shirt with the small 12 Ounce Sports logo on the left side of the chest area. And it's a perfect golf shirt. Wear for any outing, whether you're going to wear it for golfing or for a picnic or any sort of outing. This is the perfect time to buy one of those golf shirts today. These are going to be hot commodities. Also, you have 3 $25 t-shirts. You have a white 12 Ounce Sports with the big logo t-shirt right in front of the chest. We also have 2 navy blue ones, one with the big 12-ounce sports logo on the chest, and then the other one with the small 12-ounce sports logo on the left side of the t-shirt. So all 3 of those will be $25. The white golf t-shirt is $40. All hot commodities. I highly recommend each and every one of you out there to check that out today. Our mini catalog for 12-ounce sports with hot shirts. And what can I say? These are bouncing off big time. And like I said, I made my purchase. A bunch of my friends and family, even my wife's gonna make a purchase as well with one of those shirts and represent 12 Out Sports today. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be talking about the AEW Dynamite preview and predictions for tonight's episode. Again, it's 8 o'clock Eastern Time on TNT. Another stacked card in the lineup for tonight. And also, I will have my wife, Gina Tucci, come back on today to talk about not only AEW, but Ozark Season 3 in review. I know this is finally up and coming, and our apologies for not talking about that about a month ago. But, hey, like I said, work gets busy, and, we have to forego some of these topics that we got to talk about. However, long and behold, Season 3 in review for Ozark will be talked about today. Very, very, very great season. We're ready for Season 4, I can tell you that right now. And tomorrow, big day on tap as well. I know I did not talk about it on yesterday, but I will bring it back tomorrow. Philly Pete's version 2.0 of his fantasy football mock draft, and also more NHL news and updates by the hour. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together as she finally has come back to life here after a week or 2 hiatus with work. None other than the queen on the ice herself, Gina Tucci, my wife. Gina, welcome back. Glad that you're back on the air with us. How are you?
Hey! How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
I know. I've been really busy with work. It's been busy.
Yeah, the fans
have
missed you. The fans have missed you. They finally are glad that you're back in
action.
I
know. I apologize, but until I get my gig on the radio, got to pay the bills.
Yeah, so about that. But yeah, so that's good. Glad that you're back on the air. I know everyone has missed you. It's been a couple weeks. Again, she has been dealing with all the front lines going on with everything in the world today, and work's been picking up, so that's good news. So that's great to hear. Glad that she's back. So let's get right into it. AEW Dynamite. Last night's episode of Dark was pretty good. I feel like they're lengthening AEW Dark on Tuesday nights now. It was an hour show, hour 15. Mm-hmm. Now last night was an hour and a half show.
It was good. I enjoyed it.
You think that it'll go up to 2 hours at some point?
I mean, it would certainly keep my interest for 2 hours.
Definitely. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I'm glad it's on YouTube TV. Great show last night. The main event was pretty good with Moxley and his buddy. I believe the name is Anthony. I forget his last name, but they had a great bout, great main event. It was a good match. Brian Cage came out to basically witness the match, which is obviously in the July fight for them two at Fyter Fest. You'll be seeing that next month. I believe it's going to be televised on TNT. It's a 2-day event. So tonight we have another stacked card. Le Champion, Chris Jericho, will be in the commentary booth tonight, which is going to be very, very fun. I look forward to that. I love when he's on the mic. And here we have it. First and foremost, there's been an update to the card tonight. We are going to be introduced to a women's tag team belt. Gina's favorite, Chris Statlander, and Hikaru Shida versus Penelope Ford and Nyla Rose for a tag team women's belt match for tonight. That's going to be fun. That's going to be a good match. Gina, what do you think? What do you think about that match? I know Chris Statlander is your girl. What do you think about that match tonight?
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. I think, I know, Philly Pete, you like Penelope Ford. I think she's more of a B or C list wrestler. So I think it's kind of going to be a handicap match, with Nyla Rose against Chris and Shida.
Yeah.
So, I don't think Penelope Ford will bring much to the table, but against Nyla Rose, I think it'll be that'll be a good handicap match.
Yeah. So
And of course, I want Sheeta and Chris to win.
Of course, yeah, I think so too. I really truly think that, like I said, this was just added. It's I think there's 4 or 5 matches, but this is added as well. So this is a good match as well. I do think that, Sheeta and Statlander will come out victorious with this match tonight. And these are 2 great baby faces in the company right now. And it's good to see. I really hope that in the future, there's going to be like the women's division for AEW can, make its way up a little bit more, get some more talented wrestlers.
Especially because Britt Baker's hurt.
Exactly, yeah. Britt Baker's hurt, and Riho as well. We haven't seen in quite a while. She's been back in New Japan, I believe, and working on her, just working out there for now. But she is not even in Dark. She's not even in Dynamite.
She hasn't been in like a couple of months.
Exactly. So it's been a little bit, it's been tough in terms of the women's division for AEW, but they're making it all work out. So this should be a good matchup for tonight. Once again, I like Sheeta and Statlander and Gina.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
So there you have it there. We're going to move on real quick. Sammy Guevara against Boom Boom Colt Cabana.
Oh, my God.
God, I love his intro.
I can't stand it.
Funny. So last week, Jericho, accompanied by Sammy Guevara and Jake Hager, defeated Colt Cabana with the Judas Effect. That was a great match. They have 51 combined years of wrestling experience, which is unbelievable, and it was finally the first time they met in the ring. So, like I said, it was the first time ever between the two. Great veterans. The entertainment with Sammy Guevara singing Judas by Fozzy, of course, was very annoying, but that's typical Inner Circle. What do you think about that?
I thought, when is he going to stop?
Yeah.
Like somebody needs to tell him to stop. Like he's definitely tone deaf.
Oh yeah. 100%.
And even you could see it on Chris Jericho's face, like he was really trying not to laugh, and he kept like looking back at him, like, "Hurry up, we're done.
Yeah.
You're terrible."
Yeah, really. So this week, hopefully this week Boom Boom can get some sweet revenge here. Even though Jericho will be on the mic tonight in commentary, we just know that Guevara is a great asset to this company and a great part of the Inner Circle. The young, talented
he's
guy
a great athlete.
Yeah.
Don't like his hair, but great athlete. I can move past that.
Yeah. I think that do you expect some interference by Inner Circle tonight?
Absolutely. If it at the very least ringside intimidation.
Yeah.
Definitely with Jake Hager, because he's a scary man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's a tall, scary man.
Yeah. And, I think this could be a good bounce back for Colt here, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to take a chance here. I'm going to say Colt Cabana wins this matchup somehow, even with interference. I think that he is due for a bounce back, but don't cut me off if Guevara wins.
I think he will win. I would like Colt Cabana to win, but I think Sammy Guevara is just going to, he's younger. He's, I don't want to say more athletic, but he's definitely got age on his side.
Yeah. I agree as well. So that should be a good, entertaining match tonight. Next, we have the debut of FTR, Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler. They were formerly in WWE as the Revival. Now they are in AEW for their debut tonight against the Butcher and the Blade. Last week's interview with Tony Schiavone, we saw that FTR, whatever you wanted to have it stand for, they actually blurred out the Revival because WWE trademarked that word. That's why it was blurred on TNT for that standard, which was very, very interesting, but it makes sense here. So it's going to be a good match tonight. We saw Butcher and Blade take advantage last night and win their match in Dark. Tonight, I'm going to give the edge to FTR here. Debut, they kind of like
hyped it up a little bit.
Hyped up their new name, and now they're back. They're back from the dead from WWE, and now here we are with them. I just think that this is the way to go. Look for them to win here tonight. I expect a very, very good match between both teams, but to me, I think FTR wins their debut. Gina, what do you think? I
think the same. I think it's going to be a hype for them. I also wanted to say I wasn't a fan of them when they were in the in WWE. They just talked too much, and they just I don't know. I don't know if it was their character, but they just seemed really angry every time we saw them, and maybe it was just frustrations kind of coming out in their act.
Yeah.
Maybe it's more of their body. I would say more of their body language was, saying that they weren't happy being there. But going to give them another chance and see how they do, and excited to see what kind of personality they'll have. And what their place will be in the AEW.
All right. Yeah, I agree. I like that too. Next up, Inner Circle members. Jake Hager, Santana and Ortiz versus best friends Trent and Chuck Taylor with, of course, the whoever, whenever, Orange Cassidy himself. I'll let you take the reins here, Gina. Who do you like in this matchup?
Well, I want to say that Orange Cassidy is, I think, Pete's favorite. He loves him. We always, put our thumbs how he does it, and we do the pants and hands in the pocket, so that's really funny. They're very entertaining, and actually he's a pretty good wrestler. He's got a lot of speed, and you could see him running without his hands and doing all these kind of crazy flips with no hands, which is really cool. But I would like to see them win, Orange Cassidy and the best friends. I think they're going to win. I'm going to say yes for them. They're going to win.
Okay.
I think somehow they'll pull it off. I hope.
Yeah, I do like that as well. However, if Guevara is going to lose tonight to Cabana, I could see the Inner Circle,
Winning,
Jake Hager, Santana and Ortiz winning this one. I can't see
a double loss for
an
them.
0-2 night for the members of the Inner Circle for me. But if I'm going Boom Boom Colt Cabana on the first match, I want to go and take the Inner Circle members of Jake Hager, Santana and Ortiz
I have the
to win this
opposite,
matchup.
so we'll see.
Yeah, so we'll see. This is going to be a good match. I'm excited for this one. We saw Santana and Ortiz last night fight, and they had a double street sweeper finisher.
Yeah, that was
which
cool.
was pretty neat. I love that finisher. They're good up and coming tag team as well. Look for them in the future. I think Best Friends are going to be too hyped up and looking forward to their tag team championship matchup against Omega and Hangman at Fyter Fest. But we'll see what happens here. Best Friends are actually yet to face Santana and Ortiz in a standard tag team match in AEW. Obviously, previous meetings were in either Fatal 4-Ways or Battle Royals, but just the size and ability of Hager and, of course, the charisma of freshly squeezed himself, Orange Cassidy, things could be very, very interesting here. So, again, I'm going to go with the Inner Circle squad here, and Gina's going to go with Best Friends and Orange Cassidy. So
freshly squeezed.
He is the man. So wherever, whenever, Gina has them. I got Inner Circle, which should be an amazing matchup tonight. Stay tuned to that. Next up, the TNT Championship Open Challenge. Cody Rhodes, who is the champion, versus Mark Quinn, one of the two members of the Private Party Tag Team. This is again for the tag team, this is for the TNT Championship Open Challenge.
That's a tongue twister.
Yeah, it really is. Gina, go ahead, take the reins here. Who do you like?
It's definitely going to be Cody. I mean, why would one of the tag team win, one member? I mean, that wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, right. Because
it would kind of, let's just say the other guy, not Cody won, the other guy won. It would be like, well, what, is he, are they going to break up, you know?
Right,
so I really think it's going to be Cody. But, Cody will, I like Cody as a wrestler. I think he's very talented. I also think he, has a lot of respect for his fellow workers, fellow wrestlers.
Absolutely, yeah.
And, I think it'll be, a good fight, but I think in the end Cody will take it and, of course, do his respectful ending and, shake the guy's hand, say, hey, good match. And I think that's one of the main reasons why I like Cody. He's a fighting champion. Mm-hmm. He gave an open challenge, and he's holding his end up of the bargain, and, he's respectful, and I appreciate that.
I agree. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Wednesday, June 10th episode
whoop, whoop!
of Pete's Power Plays, hosted by the one, the only Philly Pete. Alongside of me, the queen on the ice herself, my wife, Gina Tucci, and we're both live on 12 Ounce Sports and Zingo TV. Once again, when signing up, first off, go to mybookie.ag, sign up for an account with MyBookie. Make sure when signing up, use the promo code 12 Ounce Sports, 12OZ Sports, all one word, when making your first deposit today. They will match you up to $1,000. Once again, mybookie.ag. Use the promo code 12 Ounce Sports, and they will match you up to $1,000 today. Next up, again, Zingo TV. Those great guys out there at Zingo TV. First off, ladies and gentlemen, please make an account with Zingo TV and use the promo code 12ounce. That's 120Z, all one word, when making an account. And from there, you'll be streaming all of our phenomenal shows that we can provide to you during these times today. We give you the best entertainment in the world, and you can only find that on 12 Ounce Sports. And lastly, our mini catalog. Please ensure to check out the mini catalog of 12 Ounce Sports. We have 4 amazing, comfortable shirts. We have a golf shirt, and we have 3 we have a white and 2 navy blue shirts. Once again, these are going to be hot commodities during the summer. I highly recommend everyone checking this mini catalog out and making a purchase with one of these shirts because they're going to be off the roofs, selling like no other this summer. So represent 12 Ounce Sports today with buying a great t-shirt that we have on our mini catalog. So going back to this Cody and Marq Quen match, they've never met one-on-one before. I really do think that this is a match where, Cody again will probably take the reins and win this matchup with some sort of respect. Like last week when we saw with Jungle Boy when Jurassic Express came out and the American Nightmare, they all came out. The Nightmare family, they all came out together, shook each other's hands like Gina said. But to me, I just think that this is just Cody's gonna be too much for Marq Quen, and Private Party should just stick to the tag team belts, the belt that they are, and go after the belts. But for me, I just think that Cody, to me, it's kind of like a he's putting out all these opportunities for all these young wrestlers on AEW or anyone in general. But basically, it's more to help the younger talents.
Mm-hmm.
Marq Quen, you have Jungle Boy. These are 2 of the younger wrestlers in AEW, and it kind of reminds me of John Cena from the WWE. Years ago when he had the U.S. Championship and he had the Open Challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw all of these young wrestlers come out to prove themselves that they could beat, the best.
Right, yeah.
And that's John Cena. So I like what Cody's doing here. It makes sense for the company. It's going to help out big time. But again, I think Cody's going to hold on to this belt for a long, long time. And that basically, and Gina, you have any other final touches on this episode?
I agree. He's, becoming a mentor, and he knows that. And you know what? It goes back to the saying, which, it's a hard nut to swallow. This, the expert at anything was once a beginner.
Yeah.
And I think he realizes that, and he's like, let's go, let's do this.
Yeah, so. Exactly. So, yeah, so that's how I feel about that match as well. Again, AEW Dynamite, 8 o'clock Eastern tonight on TNT. Check it out. It's going to be another stacked card like always. And that concludes our AEW segment. Now, moving on. Finally, the arrival of the Ozark Season 3 in review that we've finally been wanting to talk about this whole time.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my Lord. Finally. Good gracious. Real quick. So, Ozark Season 3 finally finds its footing in a third season that ramps up the tension and shines a brighter spotlight on Laura Linney, who is Wendy Bird. Her exceptional performance. This is basically her season.
Yeah.
Now listen, it's 6 months. Now we realize that the first 2 seasons here, you go into the third one. 6 months later, now you have the casino up and running. But Marty and Wendy are now fighting for control of the family's destiny. You will notice that when you see the episodes. Marty preaches keeping the status quo, aided by an alliance with Helen and drug cartel leader Omar Navarro. This is who we get ourselves into. Wendy, however, plots for an expansion. But when Wendy's brother Ben comes into town, who also plays an amazing part in this season, everyone's lives are thrown into chaos. So he plays a big part and also a big part into the entire season. But once again, this is a Wendy Bird season in Ozark. She just wants to take the reins over everything. Gina, take it away.
This season was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I thought season 2 was excellent. And season 3 just blew me out of the water.
Yeah.
I was stunned. And everybody you talk to, we were ending season 2, was like, oh my God, wait until season 3. I mean, I've been told that over and over and over again. And you know what? It definitely lived up to the expectation.
Big time.
We start out with the casino, then you could just see slowly Wendy moving out of, their circle of trust.
Absolutely.
And, when the whole theme of the first 2 seasons was, family is, family's just, we have to stick together. We have to stick together. We have to stick together.
Big time.
And now we see Wendy just kind of slowly slipping away, wants to become independent, not independent, but more wants to expand with the cartel's money. And Jason Bateman is like, no, like, this is crazy,
Yep,
like we can't keep, I'm already doing all this stuff and we're already, getting by with the skin of our teeth. So, and then Wendy is secretly meeting with Navarro and then Helen and lying to Marty. And he knows she's lying. He's listening to her phone calls. So it's really, I mean, I don't even know what to say. Wendy is just, I mean, she's excellent. She is an excellent character in this. I mean, she's so, like, you just love to hate her. And you're just like, why are you doing this? And I love how Marty is paying off the marriage counselor. Yeah. I know there's a twist with her. So, but it's great, like, there's a great scene when Marty was like, Marty had responded to the counselor's question, like, what's the worst that could happen if Wendy gets her way? And he's like, well, death, yeah. And she's like, oh, I'm sure that's not, he's like, no, literally, death. Yep. Death will be coming to us. And you see how, like, their marriage is falling apart. I mean, their marriage was on the rocks before, but at least they had each other, and I think that they don't now,
exactly.
So I was just floored. There were so many problems, and Wendy, wants to, she wants that security with the Navarro, like, hey, like, we're on the same page,
Exactly.
like, we'll work to make your life even more comfortable to the cartel, but at what cost? Her family, and you just see Wendy just, carving her way in, and not even a good carve. Like, she is just, she's very, I mean, she's having dreams about killing her husband and, and having, paying him off to leave. I mean, that is just, if that's not telling, I don't know what is, but it definitely is a season of Wendy. And, it seems like Marty, well, he wants out, but I mean, he's just trying not to die.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so I mean, basically what Gina touched up on, you get involved first and foremost, like, right off the bat, you get involved into Helen's client, like I said, and that's Navarro. So now they've been working on the chain. You had Del Rio, who was killed in the first season. Then you get involved with Helen. And now you get involved with Navarro. We were finally wondering who that client was of Helen's, and it's finally revealed to be none other than the head of the cartel who lives in Mexico himself, and that is Mr. Navarro himself. You get blended into, right away, you get into a bombing scene into the first episode of the third season, where basically you're getting a special delivery, and then things just blow up, and there's money, and people are everywhere, and then more blowing up of stuff, and then it gets all ridiculous, and from there it's just a mind-boggling. But again, it's just this is a season where I believe this is one of probably the best season. I mean, don't get me wrong, the first 2 were phenomenal, but this one is just very, very insane. We know that Jason Bateman and or Marty and Wendy are in basically they're in what are they doing now? They're with the
they're trying to, they get the hotel, or they get the other hotel, and then just Wendy wants to just become more of wants to do more of this, and Jason Bateman's just trying to get by the skin of his teeth. He's just trying to keep the status quo, but Wendy just keeps digging and digging and digging, and then it doesn't really turn out too well for Helen, and it's really, and then you throw in Wendy's crazy brother Ben, and stuff happens to him, and he plays like a role with them, and it's just like, what else can go wrong for these people?
Right.
What else? I mean, and they're just lying, and they're lying to cover up the lies, and then they're lying to cover up those lies, and we forgot about that lie. I can't. It's just. It's crazy.
Yeah. So couples therapy is what I was trying to get at with, and and you see Marty luring the therapist and the money
to
rig the session so that it's more so it's more aggressive on her compared to him. So he's paying her $400 or $500 cash to tell her, hey, listen, stop, take it easy on me. Give her more of a rough time. But again, down the line, I'm not going to ruin anything, but there's more to that story. You get involved with the FBI now. More the Kansas City mob. You also see Ruth, who is most likely, if something were to happen to Marty, that she's going to take full ownership of the casino and take care of it. While if he's away, if something happens, God forbid, but Ruth is going to step up big time to take control of that. Again, you do see Wendy's brother, obviously Ben, who comes into town. He is a bipolar character as well. You get very involved with him. He does change the entire season. This is why he's a big key to this season. You saw him. He was a substitute teacher.
Oh, that was crazy.
Yeah, he gets involved with something happens to a student, takes everyone's phones, and next thing you know, he's throwing the phones into basically a wood chipper.
Yeah.
And then he spears, a WWE style, the crap out of a
We were
construction
cracking
worker.
up there. I was like, he speared him.
Yeah, it's insane. And he basically spears into a construction worker, starts beating him down, and then now you see him on a boat with Jonah, and he's speeding. You get the cop involved, and Jonah's sweet talking the cop. There's a lot of things that Ben is kind of not really. He really should not be doing, but he does anyway, and this makes lives miserable and more intense for everybody else, including in this season. Also, again, you see Ruth throwing off one of the Kansas City mob's son, Frank Jr., off of the casino, which is very, very bad, but they condole one another, and things are somewhat back to normal. They work together. Obviously, you will see that in this season as well. Again, this is all in relation to Wendy. Wendy is trying to one-up Marty Byrde, and it's just going to be a battle between Marty and Wendy in this season, honestly. And Wendy wants full control of this season and casino. She's full on force, and it's funny because back in season 2, she explains her as a child how she breaks into houses and basically puts food coloring in milk and messes around with the houses. So here they go up to Chicago for for some sort of business meeting. Breaks into her old house and basically relives and reenacts her previous lifestyle.
Yeah, and I think that was more of a foreshadowing of Wendy's nasty nature. Like
what's to come.
like she puts on front. I think that, and then as soon as I saw that, I remember her talking about that in the prior season, and I was thinking, oh, like we're really seeing like how much she plays dirty, and she just, you could tell like she just. It's so childish that to put food coloring in the milk, and I feel like that's kind of a foreshadowing of her just wanting to get her way, and nothing will stand in her way. And again, very juvenile, but still very a prominent aspect of her character. So, and then I just wanted to real quick talk about Darlene and Wyatt. How messed up is that situation? I mean, he starts out as, a worker for her, and like they just, I don't know if they're lovers. I don't even want to think about that. Yeah. I mean, like they were insinuating that, and they were kind of working as husband and wife, and they have a baby. It's like, oh my God. Yeah, that just made my skin crawl.
Yeah, and Wyatt, you see, in this luxurious house that obviously we're not going to ruin that, but he does not go to college, and here he's just causing trouble, and then Darlene helps him out, bails him out from prison, and here they have a baby, and well, they don't physically have a baby, but I'm talking about baby Zeke. Yeah. That was Mason's baby that the Byrdes had, and now like I said, that's another story that you get into. Wendy wants the baby back. A lot of action between those two heating up very, very quickly in this season as well.
How about when Darlene punched Wendy in the face?
That's exactly what I was saying. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of tension between the two in this season that we will not talk about. But Wyatt, he's just again breaking into houses and living it up. which is crazy. Does not go to Mizzou, which he got into. Then he had cold feet, doesn't want to go to college. Again, there's every character in this season, there's just so much going on. You thought the first and second season had a lot of characters on it that died off. Well, the third season, now you're still getting into the nitty-gritty of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And you also, halfway through the season, you realize that, hey, listen, the FBI is trying to get Marty involved with them because he knows what Wendy's antics are with this new casino and how she's trying to take control of everything. He eventually does join the FBI in one of the episodes. So that is all I'm going to say about that in regards. It is an amazing season. Gina, anything else you want to touch up on this before we take off for today?
Definitely watch it. And as I was doing some research on it, it kind of related to how like the COVID-19, how like our, it's similar, not similar tactics, but kind of makes us kind of look at humanity and how we're dealing with this, and how it was saying how the government messed up in treating COVID-19 or detecting it. I'm not going to get into that. Again, I read that online, when I was going through some of the overviews, but, kind of has a correlation to times now with COVID-19 and, us, the government messing up. But again, I'm not getting into that. That was not my opinion, but I just read how it was relevant to today's situation.
Yeah. So that makes sense. Exactly what Gina said is dead on right. And once again, that concludes the Ozark Season 3 in review. Again, please, ladies and gentlemen out there, please make sure that you all tune into that. It's an amazing season. Again, it's a Wendy Bird experience this season. But that wraps up our show. Gina, anything else you want to say to the fans out there?
Have a great rest of the week and the weekend. And stay safe, stay sanitized, as Pete says. And have a good one.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this was the June 10th episode of Pete's Power Plays. I will be back again tomorrow, where I will discuss Philly Pete's version 2.0 of the fantasy football mock draft, alongside with more hockey news and updates in regards to the Phase 2 situation and everyone finally getting back on ice. Again, those that want to sign up to be a client of mine, once again, you can look up my Twitter handle at @TheRealPeteTooch. You look up PT. I'm one of the first guys there. Current clients, I know you guys are ready to rock with my packages. Those new clients or people out there that are interested, I have 3 packages out there. I have a combination of both my daily fantasy football and my NHL playoff package, and then I'm doing 2 separate packages, one separately for NHL playoffs, one separately for daily fantasy football. So once again, and also any questions or answers concerning about fantasy football or hockey or anything in the nature in the world of sports, DM me. I will get to you as soon as I can. Once again, this is the Wednesday episode of Pete's Power Plays, hosted once again by yours truly, the King of the Ice himself, Philly Pete. We are live again on 12 Ounce Sports, and I hope everyone has a phenomenal Wednesday. Enjoy your day, and I will be back tomorrow. Talk to you guys later.